Bible as a business plan.
Yeah, but man of God, hold on a minute. Man of God looking for the text. What this gentleman is trying to find out is you agree with circumcision, but according to Judaism, circumcision was done for a child. And he's asking a very valid question. How is that applied to an adult? Remember, you cannot repent if you're a child because you do not know what sin is. So therefore, are you standing in a position that in Judaism where they circumcise you as a child is still valid today, or you not? This is what we're asking.
Good. Let's go to the Bible. It's a
Can
good
I just
question.
read you something in the book of
Let's hold that question. Let's stick on that.
Yeah,
let's
we
stick on
see
that.
it.
in the book of Genesis
elder
chapter
will go.
17.
Genesis 17.
I will start from, let me just start from
From
verse
5.
12. Or what?
Okay, 12.
And he that is 8 days old shall be circumcised.
So now the Most High is giving us law,
What
instruction.
chapter are we on?
Genesis
17,
17, 5 or 12.
12, yeah.
I think there's something in 5 as well.
Yeah, we can start from 5, yeah.
No, you can just check if it's
Neither
not.
shall thy name anymore be called Abraham. That is
Okay.
when you change your name.
Yeah, because that's where he started from making
Yeah,
that all those covenant, all this from 5 down is covenants.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So Abraham is a man that is righteous, and to be righteous means to obey God, according to the scriptures. Okay.
Right, go on.
Okay. And he that is 8 days old
So this is instruction given to Abraham.
Yeah.
shall be circumcised among you.
Shall be, it has to be done.
Every man's child in your generations.
There you go. Generations.
He that is born
Plural.
in the house or bought with money of any stranger,
Because if you bought somebody with the money those days, they are your property.
which is
Even if
not,
you marry,
Stop and ask a
Yeah.
question
So
different.
how does it relate to covenant now?
Yeah.
Good text. How does it, and this gentleman will benefit from it, how does it relate to covenant with Christ now? For example, if he is not a Christian and he wants to follow God now and be a disciple of Christ, are you suggesting or recommending that he be circumcised as in this order or not? Man of God, address it.
okay, yeah, we're going to address it. The brother is still reading. In
Yeah,
fact,
okay.
in fact,
No, this is an Old Testament text. In New Testament correlation.
Come in the
go on.
whole volume of the book. So we don't take any. If we take anything out from here, it will violate even some of the things in the New Testament.
Yeah, but
Then
man-
Paul
man
will
of
be a
God.
liar.
Can I
Peter
take-
will be a
No,
liar.
but man of God,
So,
hold on a
because
minute.
they take everything.
Yeah, but man of God, this what I'll let you in. You know, I always let you in. This is one covenant, man of God. This is the covenant that God made with Abraham. And as you, I'm sure you're aware of this.
And Abraham obeyed God.
Abraham was not an Israelite.
Yeah, but okay.
Hold on.
Okay.
You heard me?
Yeah, I'm hearing.
Abraham was
Yeah.
not an Israelite.
So what's the question?
He was the father of the nation of the Israelites, right? And later on, the covenant that was made with Israel is a spiritual covenant. Later on, updated through Christ Jesus today. Address it from that point.
Okay, brilliant.
And before you do, can I just get something in there? Please respect me.
Brother Jacob, you understand what the brother is saying?
yeah.
If the starting point of circumcision is when you're 8 years old, and somebody that hadn't been circumcised, how is it justified later on in life?
Brilliant point.
Past that 8, as a 20, 30-year-old man, you say, oh, you want circumcised from back in the day, well, you need to do it now.
Brilliant point.
Okay.
Brilliant point, man.
Okay, we have to understand the
Yeah,
whole
I like my
idea.
Bible study.
It's a good point.
Yeah,
very,
good point.
Very brilliant.
Good
We
point,
have
man,
to
bro.
understand the whole. I mean, the Most High did not just wake up one day
Yeah.
and say, you know what, I'm going to have them circumcised. There's
No.
a reason why
Yes,
God
God.
do everything in
Yes,
the Bible.
God. Yes, God.
There's no one thing, not even a dot in the Bible you can find that Most High don't have a reason for that.
Yeah, we
all
agree,
agree with that.
agree.
So we stand on that point.
Yeah.
Let's see the reason why the Most High wanted to circumcise. Because don't forget that there were
As in
many.
Old Testament dispensation or
The
New?
whole Bible. Was Christ circumcised?
But then after
Wait. Was
Thank
Christ,
you.
brother?
Hold on. He's asking me a question.
Now I have to, because
Yeah, no, go on,
I understand.
we'll give you time.
I understand
We'll
your
come to
point.
hear from you,
I
man.
understand your
We'll see
point.
one at a
Now,
time.
time to address it.
Yeah, go on.
But the question I want to ask you
me.
before I do it: Did Christ ever sin?
No.
Let's go to the book of Genesis chapter 15 verse 6.
All right, go on.
Christ did exactly this, what we're going to write here. Christ did the same thing.
Sir, we're not taking away your conversation.
Not at all.
You will benefit
Trust me,
from
the
what
brother-
we're coming
the
up
brother
with.
is very patient. Trust me, I've been dealing well. We've been
Yeah.
2 hours or 3 hours.
Oh, is it? Okay.
Yeah,
The
good.
book of Genesis chapter
Genesis,
15,
Christ never break no law. We
Yeah.
all agree with
Yeah,
that.
yes, go on,
Great.
go on. Genesis.
15 verse 6,
Yeah.
right? And he believed in the Lord.
Let's go 2 more verses up. Who is the he? He will tell us.
Yeah. The book of Genesis chapter 15 verse 4. And behold, the word of the Lord came unto him, saying, This shall not be thine heir,
That's Abraham.
but he that shall come forth out of thy own bowels shall be thine heir.
Yeah, the offspring.
And he brought him forth abroad and said, Look now toward heaven and tell the stars, if thou be able to number them. And he said unto him, So shall thy seed be.
So shall that seed be, Abraham.
And he believed in the Lord, and he counted it to him for righteousness.
So Abraham did what everything that the Most High said to Abraham to do, Abraham did. Brother, this is for you. Everything, what we just read, that everything the Most High told Abraham to do,
He did.
right? He
Brilliant.
did,
Yeah.
and it counted unto him for righteousness.
Yeah.
Now the question
Jesus was
is that,
circumcised, you asked me.
there you go. So who are we following? We call ourselves disciple of who?
Jesus.
There you
Christ.
go. So whatever Christ did, we have to do. Let's
No,
go to
hold on a minute.
No.
Man of God. I will always let you finish.
You
Man
can't
of
do like
God,
last week, brother. One second.
we will always.
Let
Man of God.
me make my
stop
point.
agreeing
No, let me make your
Can
point.
we stop
Let-
agreeing something first?
Man of God. We
You
will
see,
always.
this is getting a little bit rowdy.
No,
And I don't want to
man
treat
of
you like
God,
you're
man
out.
of God,
You are
man of
my
God.
people.
Oh my
Before
God.
we go on,
Man of God.
You know I don't
Man
take-
of God. Man of God. We will
Brother,
always let you finish. But we're asking
if you stop my point, I'm not going to be able to
finish the
build.
point. Finish
Then
the
I
point.
have to start
All right,
all
finish the
over
point.
again.
Finish the point, man of God.
connect.
Finish the point. No, let me finish the point, please.
I'm just saying, can we agree on sort of maybe alleviate the time a bit so that
Yeah, because we're running out of time to get
because
down.
sometimes
Okay.
Yeah,
when
go
you
on.
make a point for 10 minutes, the person might forget what they want to say.
Yeah, that's
Okay,
Yeah, go on. Go on.
So you mean that you want to interject? Then you
Please,
Where is
so
it
we can think.
Not
We
in
can.
an interruptive way. but-
Okay,
We're testing the
yeah, I
Bible.
get that point.
This
Yeah,
conversation is
okay.
all about
So that I don't
testing
interrupt you,
what
but
he's
I'm-
got and what we've got and see if we can, come to an
So
understanding.
that I don't
Okay,
interrupt
okay,
you, though,
good,
but if
yeah.
I can interject
Yeah.
and say,
Okay, yeah.
yeah.
Quick interjection, yeah.
Yeah,
Come out,
sure.
yeah.
So can I?
No interruptive way.
No, not interruptive way.
yeah.
So what my point was, you're saying everything that Jesus do, we must also follow.
Yeah.
But don't forget, that Jesus came just at the end of a covenant. He began a new covenant in his blood. Carry on.
We get it. Yeah, we get it.
Just remember
Don't
that.
forget that the new covenant was mentioned in the old covenant that is going to come.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, but there was a new covenant in Christ. But carry on.
Yeah, that's right. But we're going to get to everything.
Yeah, well-
But that new covenant was spoken in the book of Isaiah. And it was spoken in the book of Jeremiah. So we have to go back to origin.
That was
before
prophecy,
we-
sir. That was prophecy to come.
With the stone of heart turning into stone.
No.
That is one of them. And again, writing the
Jeremiah,
law in our
what
heart.
Jeremiah, what is that? The stone of heart.
Jeremiah 31.
Yeah, no. He's talking about
Isaiah.
the writing of the law in the heart.
You know, they say-
All right, 31. Yes. But man of God, with that in mind, you mentioned a point just now that all of that.
The reason why I go to Abraham is this, brother.
No, you quote. No, 1 minute. You quoted that Abraham, all of these men of God, prophet before, prophesy of this new covenant. What I'm trying to bring out to you is they foretell of what was to come. It wasn't that it was going to happen in their dispensation.
I understand,
but
brother.
Christ claimed in the volume of the book, which means that He bring it to pass. Do you hear me, man of God?
Yeah, 1 second.
Christ bring it to pass. Go on,
One
Aaron.
second, but don't
Yeah.
forget that in the book of Isaiah is part 1 and part 2.
Yeah.
Christ is going to come, die for his people,
Yeah.
and he's going to resurrect. It's
Yeah.
prophesying in Isaiah. Then it says in the last day he will come. It says the slain of the Lord shall be many. In the book of Isaiah 66, it says the slain of the Lord will be many. In
Right.
the book of Isaiah 63, he actually tells you how he's going to kill people.
All right, cool.
Okay,
All right.
so but that is not done yet because we haven't seen Christ since he's gone.
Yeah.
So that's two portions Isaiah divided to.
Yeah.
So we have to know how to divide the word.
Right, cool.
So
Man of God,
Jacob,
come on in, yeah.
what I'm trying to start, why we went to Abraham is this, because we're talking about circumcision.
Yeah, of course.
Everything that the Most High told Abraham, from A to Z, he did.
One covenant, though.
So, brother, whether one, in that one covenant, there are many.
There's a lot of other
There is a lot of covenants that Most High
I
gave to Abraham apart from the circumcision.
Yeah.
No, I know this.
Yeah. So we have to keep that. Everything that Abraham did, this is why Abraham. Well, let me finish, brother.
No, I'm not gonna cut you, man. I'm just
This is
listening.
why Christ says that.
Uh-huh.
He says to the Pharisees, he says, Abraham saw my coming and he was glad.
Right.
So Christ is letting you know that he is also following the footsteps of what Abraham did, because Abraham obeyed God and it was counted unto him for righteousness. And we know that Christ never disrespected God. Now the question is that Christ, he was a baby. He didn't have a say too. But Christ know that must be fulfilled whether he had a say or not.
Okay.
So because Christ was circumcised in the book of Luke chapter 1, right? Christ was circumcised on the what day? Eighth day. That goes back to
one
who?
thing I want to say.
Abraham.
Abraham.
Yeah.
So I'm connecting you that we are still the seed of Abraham. So when it says that we are the seed of Abraham.
Yeah, no, I understand.
So, but don't forget that it tells in the book of Romans chapter 9. Let's go to Romans chapter 9. Oh,
Right,
you have
let's
something
see.
you want to say?
No, I just want to say Ishmael at 13 years old was circumcised.
13 years old.
No. Yeah, we understand. We're
because
trying to.
mine was talking about the age or something like that.
All right.
about age,
No,
it's about
we're trying to bring the correlation with the New Testament covenant.
Yeah,
That's what we're trying to get to.
Yeah.
We
How
understand
does it
all of that.
correlate? Yeah. And we agree.
The teaching. That is, we agree. That is right.
Okay, all
We're
praises,
trying
all
to say,
praises.
how does that open the door to the New Testament
Okay.
dispensation?
Okay,
Okay,
wait. Let's go to the book of Isaiah chapter 50 verse 6. I'm saying all these things
Yeah.
to say this.
Yes,
I
man,
will
that's
show
fine,
you.
that's fine.
Because we have to understand one thing, that everything Abraham did, everything all the prophet did, everything Moses did before Christ followed in those footsteps. as
Okay,
well.
okay.
Okay, which is all the righteous thing they do.
All right.
Because we know that some prophet went off, like the priest, like the father of during the time of Samuel.
Yeah.
Eli, he went off, but
Yeah.
Christ didn't go. He only followed all the righteous things
Yeah,
they did.
good.
So now, brother saying that, where do I have a say? At what point do I come in? No, I want to do or not. It's not about I want to do. It's about the father of that son obeying God and pass that obedience to the child.
Right.
Because it tells you in the book of Deuteronomy chapter 4 verse 5, it says, all these commandments that I have taught you, right? You shall teach your children when you go to bed, when you wake up, when you sleep, when you're eating, whatsoever you do, you must teach them. So that's what Joseph did with Christ. So don't forget that Ishmael was the son of Abraham. He could have had a say at 13 years old.
No.
But the father still supersede him.
We agree with that.
All praises to the one side.
Yeah, open the door not to the New
Now let's
dispensation.
okay.
Right.
Now I'm going to show you one more. Then we go to the
And
New,
yeah, that's fine.
then we're going to go to the New
Yeah,
Isaiah
that's fine.
60. I just want to show you that it's all about obedience, because Peter knows that they have to be circumcised. All the apostles knows it. Let's see one more thing that the apostle, that Christ did, and all the apostles followed.
Okay.
Isaiah 50 verse 6. So when Christ circumcised, Christ knew that he couldn't fight for that, because he knows that that was just his father obeying God. Because if Joseph did not obey God, Christ would be cursed. Because he tells us that I set before you life and death, right? Blessing and cursing. So therefore, choose life, that both you and your children, Christ is the son of Joseph, may live. Let's go.
The book of Isaiah chapter 50 verse 6.
Come on.
I gave my back to the smiters.
Christ is foretelling, the prophet Isaiah is foretelling what's going to happen to Christ. He says, I gave my back to who?
Smiters.
The Romans smite Christ, they beat him. So they smite him, that means smite to beat, right?
And my cheeks to them that plucked off the hair.
Now, if you look at a woman's cheek, a woman does not have hair on her cheek, so there's nothing to pluck off. That's to tell you that Christ had beard on his cheek. Like you have beard on your cheek, you have beard on your cheek. He says, I gave my what?
I gave my cheek
I gave my cheek
to them that pluck off the hair.
to them that pluck off the hair. Let's go to
pluck mine.
Let's go to the book of Leviticus chapter 19 verse 27 to 28.
Okay.
Let's see.
Well, you didn't finish, man of God, and I
know. Okay, go
I
on.
hid not my
face
face
from
shame
from
and
shame
spit in it.
and spit in it.
Man
Yeah,
of God,
we know,
come on,
no,
wind it up.
it's-
Let him get a
brother,
full
no,
word.
I didn't want to finish it first because
I'm
I want
joking,
to,
I'm joking.
brother, I'm doing precept.
Yeah.
When you see something you need to break down, break it down,
Yeah,
and come back
I was
to it.
just joking with it, man.
All praises.
Leviticus 21
Yeah.
5.
Leviticus
Yeah.
21:5.
21 5, yeah.
So we just come from Deuteronomy 50, Isaiah 50
No,
and
let's
verse
go,
6
let's go to
and then Deuteronomy
Leviticus
7.
Leviticus 19, 27 to
19,
28.
Are we doing Leviticus?
Yeah,
Leviticus
Leviticus
19,
19, 27.
Okay, let's have a look.
Leviticus 19.
27.
Yeah.
Because the reason why I'm showing you this is to show you that everything that was prophesied that Christ is going to come and do is actually coming from the laws. From the beginning, circumcision, he fulfilled that. That circumcision, as my brother says, he was right. It wasn't even given to Israel at the first. It was to Abraham. But yet, Christ fulfilled it as an Israelite. Because it's a righteous law. Anything that is righteous, head covering is not in. One second, please, brother. Don't interrupt here. Every law. For example, the law of head covering was not an Israelite
Hold on.
law. Was a law that was given
1
to.
minute. You know,
was a
silver and gold
righteousness
cannot
that
help
will
you.
happen in the
So
time
if
of
I give you a
Isaac.
pound,
Yet Israelites-
it's still not going to satisfy your need.
anything that
Only
righteousness
Jesus
is
can.
the things Noah did,
Only
we are
Jesus can
doing.
satisfy your need.
So it's not about it's only an Israelite law. We know that Israel have law, but there are some things our forefathers have done that are righteous. We have to add it to what we are doing today. So all the things that our ancestors did that were righteous, Christ did everything. Christ didn't say, "Oh, I only come from the seed of Jacob." No, he did what Noah did. He did what Enoch did. He did what Noah did, and he did what Abraham did, Isaac and Jacob did. Christ fulfilled everything. You understand me? Because it's called morality.
Okay.
So just to let you know,
Yes.
there are sacrificial law, there are moral law, civil law, ceremonial law, and dietary law.
So wait. Sacrificial
Five
law,
Yeah.
civil law,
Yeah.
ceremonial law,
Uh-huh.
dietary law, and what?
And
Moral law.
moral law. So that's fine. Let's
sacrificial-
start. That's
Hold on,
sacrificial.
sacrificial?
Wait 1 second. Let's go like this.
Yeah.
There's civil law, dietary law,
Uh-huh.
moral law,
Uh-huh.
ceremonial law,
Uh-huh.
sacrificial law.
That order.
So those are five. The one that is fulfilled in the law is sacrificial law. So we don't need to
No,
sacrifice.
we understand that. We understand.
Yeah,
that.
I'm just explaining
Yeah,
to this
go on,
brother.
sorry, yeah.
We don't have to sacrifice animal for our sin anymore.
Okay.
But ceremonial law is the Sabbath law and all the feasts. We have to keep it. It's still alive.
Hold on a minute, man of God. You know I will interject. You said ceremonial law, including the Sabbath.
And all the
Yeah.
feasts.
There's a big mistake here. Hold on a minute. Hold on a minute. I will let you in. I will let you in. I always
this,
let you in.
this is the interjection.
This is always going to be the interjection. The ceremonial law never included as in the Ten Commandments Sabbath. Are you referring to that one?
I'm referring it. It's-
You're referring to
it's-
the weekly Sabbath.
and more.
Right.
Yeah,
Yes.
I'm referring to weekly Sabbath. I'm also referring to New Moon. I'm also referring to Passover, the
That's
Pentecostal,
what I'm saying.
the dedication.
The Sabbaths, as in ceremonial Sabbath, are never the Ten Commandments Sabbath. That is abolished in Christ, not the.
No,
The certain-
no,
yeah,
no,
the certain-
no.
Yes,
Hold
that's
on a
why
minute.
we need to
Hold
get
on a
to the New
minute.
Testament.
Man of God, man of
We'll
God.
get there,
We'll let you in. Just hear my point out and then see if you can address it after the end. What I'm saying, the ceremonial Sabbath, yeah, pertaining to when he says new moon and Sabbath, that Sabbath, new moon and Sabbath there, that's a ceremonial Sabbath there, but that's not the Ten Commandments Sabbath.
Okay.
The Ten Commandments has to do with moral law of God.
Okay.
So when we talk about the sacrificial, ceremonial, Ten Commandment, you talk about dietary law.
Yeah, I understand. Yeah,
But
said
you
that.
didn't include this. You didn't include the Ten Commandment law.
No, brother.
So you had 5, but let me add to you the Ten Commandment law also.
Okay.
So civil, ceremonial, sacrifice, and the Ten Commandment, and the other one you mentioned. What was it?
Okay.
Yeah,
Brother,
You mentioned
moral
another-
law,
and moral.
moral.
There you are.
Brother.
Moral is the Ten Commandment. That's it.
Yeah, you see, moral law is part
Ten
of the
Commandment,
Ten,
yeah,
it's
yeah.
part of the Ten
Ten
Commandments.
Commandments.
Brother, let me put it this way to you.
Yeah.
When you say Ten Commandments,
Yes.
right, that's not the old law. For example, there's no thou shalt not rape a woman in Ten Commandments. But
That's the
yeah,
Moses
yeah,
law.
but-
Moses. That's the Moses law. I'm gonna let you carry on. I'm just showing you something.
One
Go on,
second, let
go
me
on.
finish.
Yeah.
I know it's Moses' law.
Yeah.
But Moses gave, how many laws did he give in the Bible?
613.
So that 613 does not sound like 10.
No, 10 was the divine law that
Yeah,
was
it's right,
that was
yeah.
given in on Mount Sinai.
Okay.
Hold on. When God was giving those law to the people, God says, "I will. This is a covenant. I'm going to write them on table of stone. That is a covenant. What Moses written in the book was not a covenant.
Yeah, it's not covenant.
That was for the people at the time.
Okay.
But the 10 Commandment was a covenant.
Context.
You want to
Yeah, you
Come
know,
on in
because
when you're
what
ready.
you just said there, brother, you know, because when Moses went to the mountain, you know, it was there for how many days? 40 days.
40 days.
Yeah, you know, because 40 days, and you know, the Ten Commandments, the Most High can only write it even in second, maybe in 1 hour, in 2 hours,
Yeah,
you know,
yeah.
but it stayed for 40 days.
Yes, that's
you
right.
know, because all the Testament, you know, was also the way it was taught, you know, but he has to teach them the Testament to the Israelite. Because if you go into the book of Exodus 24, I believe, or in the book of Deuteronomy, it was explained there. You know, it's just like when you
Exodus
talk about
chapter 24, verse
verse 12.
3
Yeah.
to 8, actually.
yeah, you know, so
read it in a minute.
you know, because but the basic
You see that?
one is that Ten Commandments.
go.
You know, this is why we say that is the primary.
So
Foundation.
Yeah,
Alright, go on.
can I
Yeah.
But
say
it doesn't
this, that-
include the ceremonial.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, but
There's
you
a
know, but
difference.
like
I'm
this
just
is
trying to
clear
be
difference.
clear about that.
No.
I'm
Yeah,
clear.
it's a difference.
No,
It's
I'll
a
tell
clear
you this.
difference.
No, it's not.
Oh, you're not agreeing?
No,
not agreeing.
because
Okay.
the reason because
Go on.
I have the table of all the 613 commandments at home.
Yeah.
I can identify the 10 laws
No.
out of the 613.
Okay, they're in there.
They're in there.
yeah.
They're all in
Okay.
there.
Yeah.
What I
But-
want to, okay, but
Go on.
what I'm trying to find out is, yeah, they're in there. I agree with that. But of the 10, I'm trying to establish what the 10 are. Are they
Covenant,
moral
10.
and ceremonial, or are they just moral?
That's correct.
Moral.
Include
Good
ceremonial.
point.
Do they
Good point.
include ceremonial?
Okay,
point.
Okay.
let's prove it.
Lord, I
Exodus
got-
20. Exodus 20. I will show you what you said is right. It's right actually, because when
He's right.
something's right, it's right.
Exactly.
But let's
You're right.
prove it.
You're right.
You're right, but let's prove it because he
Sure,
includes
no.
ceremonial, moral. Brother, I will show you.
No, you're right.
I will show you.
No,
I will
you're
show
right,
you.
man. You're
Let's
right.
start from
No,
Exodus.
you didn't need to show me. You're right. Go on.
No,
I know
but
you're
I
right.
just want to.
Go on.
You know, it's good to
Yeah,
establish.
all right, cool.
We should establish
Yeah, yeah,
what
go
we
on.
say.
Exodus,
Exodus 20, verse. Let's start from verse 1.
verse 1.
Yeah, because I
I do
want to
admire
show
the way
you.
you like to read, though.
Oh, brother,
I like that.
it's a blessing when you read.
Sometimes I'm just thinking for time.
Revelation
why I
1,
call it brother.
Revelation 1,
Yeah.
3, it says, blessed is he that read, that hears, and that do what is in the law.
Yeah, all right,
So
go
it's 360
I'm like that.
blessings.
I'm only thinking
Carry on, man of God.
All praises.
Okay.
So let's go to Exodus 20.
verse 1.
We're going to see, as we go along, you're going to be seeing moral law. You're going to, brother, as we go along, you're going to be seeing moral law, civil law, ceremonial law, right? Apart from sacrificial law,
Should we
is
go
not
under
there.
that light?
But we're going to see. Okay.
Should we grab it quickly before we take it?
Yeah.
Somebody take it. Guys, smart. This guy's clever.
Stay here late all the time, so I know.
So now let's break it down because Bible says we should divide the word rightly into the word of truth. So now let's go to the ceremonial. Let's go to the law just to show you that in the 10 Commandments, all right, it's not just all moral law; it's all mixed. So let's do it.
The book of Exodus chapter 20 verse 1. And God spake all these words, saying, I am the Lord thy God,
And the Lord thy God,
which have brought thee out of the land of Egypt, out of the house of bondage.
yes.
Thou shalt have three. Thou shalt have no other gods before me. Okay? Thou shalt not make.
So
unto
when it says thou shalt not have any other God before me, what is that saying? Is that a moral law? Is that a civil law? What is it exactly?
That's moral. That's moral.
Correct. That's moral law. So we see moral law in the 10 Commandments. Let's go.
Thou shalt not make unto thee any graven image,
Moral law. We agree with that. It's still the same.
or likeness of anything that is in heaven above or that is in the earth.
No, we agree that is the moral law.
Yeah, but there's more thing we want to bring out. There's
Thou
one
shalt
more.
not bow down thyself to them.
Let's
nor-
jump to 7.
7, yeah. Okay, 7, yeah. Thou shalt not take the name of the Lord thy God in vain.
That's a moral law. The third law is moral law.
Yeah, of course.
Now let's go to the 8th. The 4th law.
Yeah, remember the Sabbath day to keep it holy.
One is a Sabbath day. Is it a moral law, civil law, or ceremonial law, or dietary
It's a
law?
moral law.
It's a civil law.
I would say
No,
civil.
no.
No,
I'll
sorry.
show you why.
It's a ceremonial law. Sorry, ceremonial law. Sorry. What's the word?
Yeah.
Ceremonial law.
Yeah.
It's a ceremony.
You think it's a ceremonial law?
Yeah, no,
Why
it's
is
not
that?
that thing. Let's go to the.
Okay, let's establish. You're saying it's a ceremonial law, not a
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. But I think it's a moral law. But never mind.
Where it
Yeah.
says, and I bless it.
It's a moral and civil.
Yeah,
In
I
the
was
sense
going to say that.
Yeah, it's a moral and civil.
Actually,
Genesis 2.
sorry, it's yeah. That's what I'm saying. Why
It's
just
a moral
one?
and civil. Yeah.
Isn't it moral and civil? Why is it
That's
just
it.
one?
No, it's
Yeah.
only the Sabbath is a ceremonial law. In fact, let's go
Well,
to
show us
Leviticus
that.
23.
No.
Let's do Leviticus 23.
Why
Let's-
didn't
No, let's see. No, let's see. Let's see.
Because it's a-
Let's see him break it up.
it's-
You okay?
Any, any.
No,
any
you guy.
law-
You should bring him back in the middle. Hey, listen, give him some space, man. He's a key in the player. We came over with him, man of God. Sorry, we know our stuff.
Yeah.
So put it back in the middle, cause we know our stuff. So
Okay,
he's the
the
one.
reason
that's
why I
gonna-
say it's a ceremonial
Yeah,
law,
go on.
when you do a feast in your home, you call it celebration. The word celebration come out from the word ceremony. So when you when you having a ceremony of somebody, a memory of somebody, yeah, you celebrate.
Yeah.
So the Sabbath is a feast. Leviticus 23:3.
Read it. Let me hear it.
Okay, the book of Leviticus 23 verse 3. 6 days shall work be done.
6 in fact.
Wait.
Go to Exodus.
Wait a minute, stay there, stay
Yeah,
stay in
wait,
Leviticus.
no, change it,
No,
Leviticus, yeah.
Stay in Leviticus
Yeah.
and see what it might say.
Yes,
afterwards
see
as
up
well.
here, 23,
Yeah.
verse 1.
So we get a bit of
Verse 3.
context.
Leviticus 23,
Stay
verse 3.
there, brother.
Okay, you can hold that.
Exodus 20.
Okay.
8. Let's read it. Then we will connect it to Leviticus.
All right,
I just
all
want
right.
to do that
Exodus 20.
connection because
Exodus what now?
Oh, that don't close it.
Yeah, no, we got it.
Exodus
We got it. I'm marking.
28, 20 verse 8. So we're going to connect 20 verse 8 with Leviticus 23:3.
All right, 20 verse 8.
Yes, please.
Remember the Sabbath day to keep it
Exodus
holy.
23.
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
20 verse 8.
Yeah.
Remember the Sabbath day to keep it
So
holy.
it says to remember.
The Sabbath
So,
day to keep
like
it
for
holy.
example, people remember their birthday or their marriage, whatever.
Yeah,
they remember,
yeah.
right? But this one is concerning Sabbath. God says to remember.
Uh-huh.
Why did He say to remember? Because He doesn't want you to forget.
Yeah.
Okay. You even see people who celebrate their birthday. I know it's all pagan, but some people forget to celebrate their birthday because they work all day. And now today's
True,
my
true,
birthday.
true.
So yes,
That's
God
good
is saying
point.
remember to celebrate what?
The Sabbath.
The Sabbath, to keep it what?
Holy.
Holy. What does holy mean? It means separate.
Sacred.
So every day
Set
is
apart.
common. Only one day is separate and
Yeah,
special.
yeah, yeah. We read
Holy
that.
means special, right? You read
Yeah,
it?
yeah.
Now, let's
23:23 says, and the
Wait,
Lord's
wait,
day
wait,
comes
wait,
to
wait, one second, brother.
But hold on.
Let's continue reading that 20. Let's read
23.
9, 10, 9, 10, and 11. 9 and 10.
Exodus chapter 20, verse 9. 6 days shalt thou labor
6 days, common days are 6 days, right?
and do all thy work.
And all the works, but what?
But the seventh day is the Sabbath of the Lord,
So the 7th day is a holy day, is the Sabbath of the Lord.
thy God.
Thy God,
In it thou shalt not do any work.
don't do no work, no cooking, no buying, no selling.
Yeah, we understand that. But show us how it's sacrificial. That's the point.
Yeah,
it's not
no, it's not
sacrificial.
sacrificial. It's a ceremony. We will
Right, yeah, show us how it's ceremony.
ceremony.
Show us how it is ceremony.
Okay, yeah, we will
Yeah, go on.
Okay, brother, continue.
Okay.
There's something in
But in the, excuse me. But in the seventh day is the Sabbath of the Lord,
Okay.
thy God. In it thou shalt not do any work. Thou nor thy son, nor thy daughter, thy manservant, nor thy maidservant, nor thy cattle, nor thy stranger that is within thy gate.
Yeah.
Verse 11.
Okay.
For in 6 days
That's the
Lord
10
made
Commandments, sir.
heaven.
We know, but we're showing you in the 10 Commandments, it has ceremonial law, it has moral law, it has civil
you're
law.
saying
No,
That's
no,
why-
you mix it
brother,
up.
brother, let us finish. You have asked us question, let us address it, please. Because we are trying to.
You're asking the wrong question.
No,
I said,
we're
show
not
us
asking the
where
wrong
the
question
Sabbath
because
is
the
a ceremony.
brother says something,
Yeah.
right? That all this law that we have in 613 law, I'm trying to prove it to him that 10 was taken out of it.
Understand that?
No, but how can we prove it if we have to read it to prove it, brother? We read to
No,
prove things.
I'm showing. I want to know where the Sabbath is a ceremonial
I
law.
couldn't
Be-
That's what
because
I'm
we're
asking.
trying
But
to
if I
move on.
prove it to you, you know,
And I'm
oh,
still
you're
trying
right,
to get to
you're
the
not
New
lying.
Testament as well.
Is that not what
Yeah,
I've been
yeah,
doing
but
with you all day?
yeah, but
Brother, I could say anything, but I have to back it up.
all
I
right,
have
let
to
me carry
prove
on.
all
Let me
things.
carry on. All right, we listen.
That
We listen.
What you're
We
saying
listen.
is right.
All
Because
right,
I
we
said you are
listen.
right.
Okay,
anyway.
okay.
All right, we listen.
That 613 law,
Yeah.
10 was taken,
Yeah.
was made as the basic.
That's right.
What we should follow.
Which covers- that's right.
So let's go to Leviticus now. Leviticus 23:3.
Yeah.
Send me a copy of that. What you say I have at home.
About what?
The narrative of the sacrificial.
Ah, yeah,
Send it to me. A picture. Got my
You
number.
see, you see over here.
Yeah, go on.
Good point.
Leviticus 23, verse 3. 6 days shall work be done.
It's repeating again the same thing in Exodus 20 and 8.
For the seventh day is the Sabbath of rest
What did it call
and
it?
holy
Holy
convocation.
convocation, holy gathering. So when you gather is when you celebrate, right? Continue.
Ye shall do no work therein. It is the Sabbath of the Lord
That's correct.
in all your dwellings. These are the feasts of the Lord.
These are the what?
The feast of the Lord.
What?
Feast of the Lord.
Feast is celebration. So that is to tell you that the Sabbath law is a feast. When we are taking a feast, the royal family, they take feast. It means they're celebrating one thing or the other. So that means to tell you that the Sabbath law is a ceremonial law. Because without the word ceremony, you won't have
All
celebration.
right, wait a minute.
You understand what I mean
Wait
by
a minute.
Patrick?
Can I ask a question now?
Yes, of course.
Right. We've just discovered the ceremonial aspect of the Sabbath. How does that relate to the Sabbath of the 10 Commandments? Hold on a minute. You've explaining that the Sabbath there, as described there, is a ceremonial law. We understand that clearly. But how is it related to the moral law of the 10 Commandments? Hold on a minute. That law that you describe in Genesis 2 verse 2, it says, it says, on the seventh day God ended all his work.
Yes.
That is the Sabbath.
That is-
That is the 10 Commandment moral law.
Yeah.
That one that you mentioned is a ceremonial Sabbath, but the 10 Commandment Sabbath is written in Exodus, Genesis 2 verse 2.
Rested. The seventh.
The word rested.
But-
That is ceremonial, but I'm talking
we go
about
to-
the 10 Commandment Sabbath. Go
Yeah,
on.
can I ask you a question?
Yeah.
You see what you just quoted now?
Yeah.
That on the
Genesis
7th
2.
day, can we
2
go
verse
there
2. Yeah,
and
look
read
at
the
it.
whole thing and
Look
see
at it.
what God says at the end?
read
Because
more.
what,
Okay.
Genesis
because
2
what
verse
it says at the
Yeah.
end, it tells you the
Okay,
reason
what
why
does
we
it
need to keep
Genesis
it
2
holy.
verse 2.
Because when we're celebrating Sabbath here, in heaven they're celebrating
No,
as
I
well.
know
And I will
this,
show
man
you
of
as
God. I know this, man of
Okay,
God. I know
so
this. I
okay,
know
all
this.
praise. So let's read.
So I'm saying, on the seventh day, Genesis 2 verse 2, are you
Yeah.
read, man of God.
Okay, yeah. Brother Jacob, we'll read.
Okay, you want me to read?
Genesis 2 verse 2.
And on the seventh day, God ended his work. Which he did.
Okay, Genesis chapter. Okay,
Read on, man of God. Read on.
Genesis chapter.
So this
2,
is the
verse
clue
2.
we have to hold on to. Because every day is common to God, but there's one day that is holy and we should hallow it. Why is it that? There's something he did, it makes it all, that one day to be different to other days. Let's
Rest.
find out here.
Yeah.
Yes.
Rest, one, but there's another thing, there's a clue
Yeah.
that people don't look into. Let's go.
Yeah,
Do you believe in physical and spiritual blessings?
Do I believe in?
Do you believe in spiritual and physical blessings
Yes.
from God?
Yes.
Let's read it.
Genesis chapter 2 verse
Let's see
2.
how God bless us.
And on the seventh day, God ended his work
And that is work.
which he had made, and he rested on the seventh day.
Just to let you know, Sabbath means rest.
1 minute. 1 minute.
One second.
Can I? Go on, let him
one
finish.
second. 1 second.
From all his work which he had made,
Next verse.
and God blessed,
God did what?
and God blessed.
That's the only day in the week, spiritually, physically, that God blessed.
Yeah.
You can go into the book of Isaiah, chapter 47. It says, when the gate of heaven is open, blessing is open to those who keep the Sabbath. Yeah. When it's shut, no blessing. So Sunday is no blessing. God did not bless Sunday as a day to worship Him, as a day that is holy. Although every day we worship God, but there's one day He said, "Oh, you worship me every day, but only one day I will bless you."
All right, man of God.
According,
Can I
and
come
that
back?
blessing will last you for the whole 7 weeks. You do it again, it lasts you for the whole 7 weeks.
Okay, wait a minute.
Perpetual.
Are you also saying that it's
Perpetual. Let's go
only?
to the perpetual ordinance.
No, wait. Before you go further. Go on, you go.
I'm just wondering. Are you also saying that because you said that God blessed that day, we can worship every day? But you're saying that in worshiping every day, we will only be particularly blessed on the Sabbath.
Okay.
Is that what you're saying? I just
Yeah,
want to confirm.
that's exactly
Yeah,
what I'm
that's
saying.
Okay.
It's not that God, see, when
So I
God,
will not be blessed on the other day.
no, I'm not saying
for
you will not
worship,
be blessed.
for-
You see, for example, God says that we should walk the land for
Yeah.
6 years.
Yeah.
Then we should not do another, on the 7th year, we should not do. That is saying in that 6 years, it will bless us so much that it will last for the 7 years.
Okay.
So if God bless you today, that blessing will last for the
Okay.
whole 7 days.
Okay.
So that's how God operates.
Okay, sure.
Yeah, sure. Let's come to this.
So we all agree on that, right?
Yeah, we agree.
In ceremonial law,
Yeah.
it all praises to Most High.
Genesis 2 verse 2.
Okay.
That law, was ceremonial and also moral. That's what we
Yeah,
mean.
yeah. I'm saying
Moral in
yeah.
the sense of the 10 Commandments. Now,
Yeah.
hold on. The ceremonial law is abolished in Christ, but the 10 Commandments stands today.
No, come on, bro. Come on.
Let's find what you just said. Let's find
let's
out.
explore that.
Okay, yeah, fine.
Yeah, let's explore that.
Wait. What? No, it's what I just asked you a question. What you say now? Let's address
Yeah,
it.
yeah, go on.
Let's see if that law was abolished after Christ died and
Okay.
rose.
Yeah, go on.
So let's go to the book of.
You're saying that it was abolished.
No,
You're saying that
no,
it was-
no. We don't believe it's abolished. We believe because, in fact, let's go to where God says it's perpetual. Exodus 35, 35, 15, 31, 15. or so.
As
31, 3 or 15.
wait a minute.
Right, you both all
As,
Christians, right?
Yeah.
We are Israelite. We don't call ourselves a Christian, but the brother does. Because Christian, to me, why we don't call ourselves Christian? We could accept in some certain sense, which means anointed. At the end of the day, Mr. is not a name. Israel is a name, and it's a God-given name. So we cannot be putting a name that was attached to us as a title by man. Because Antioch, the Greek, call us Christian, but God did not call us Christian. Anointed is all over in the Bible. David anointed, Saul anointed, Paul anointed. Everybody was
Again, I have to
anointed.
say, seeing as you said that, I know we might go off a bit. Seeing as you said that, that's where you stop short in the Old Testament and don't deal with the New Testament.
But-
I'm saying to deal with that bit, then you have to go into the New Testament because you're right about what you said. But that's if you stop short of the Old Testament and don't take in account what's going on in the New Testament
Actually,
regarding
taking-
that name.
actually,
Because remember last week I said I looked at Pete and I was looking at certain stuff and I was trying to say that they haven't flung it out the way you have. I understand the context in which it came, that they said, oh, those are Christians. But remember, I was trying to give you the context of not being ashamed to be persecuted for Christ or being called by his name. And
point,
I
good
looked
point.
at certain scriptures where it's mentioned 3 times, and also specifically when we're talking to Agrippa, and he said, you're almost persuading me to. What I'm trying to say, you can looking in the New Testament, they clearly didn't reject the word, even though it came late in the
Good
stage.
point, man.
They didn't reject the word at all. Not only did they not reject it, they accepted
And
it.
it bring conviction.
Peter said, if you suffer, if any man suffer as a Christian,
That's the clue.
if any man suffers as a
Suffer.
Christian,
Yeah.
be happy. When
And
does it
I-
say be happy and joyful?
And it bring conviction.
Yeah, yeah.
and-
So I'm trying to say you can't throw that the way you're doing
You
on
see?
if you don't stop short of the Old Testament.
I'm not going to 100% throw it out.
Yeah.
Because I said to you that I'm an Hebrew Israelite.
Yeah, yeah. I
If you
understand.
call me a Christian, I know what point
Yeah,
of view
yeah,
you're
I know
coming
you
from.
said that from
But
me,
the
okay,
brothers who
yeah.
don't know me, when they call me Christian as this brother, I have to explain to him
I have
and
no
make
problem with that.
differentiation
That's fine,
because
that's
he
fine.
doesn't
Yeah,
know
I have
me.
no problem with
Can I
that.
come back in?
No, one second. I just want to answer you.
Yeah.
You know me that I'm an
Yeah,
Israelite,
sure.
but as a title,
Sure,
like
okay.
for example, I'm called
I'm not saying you must
Mr.
accept it.
I'm called Mr.
Yeah.
Right, Joseph. I'm not called Mr.
Yeah.
You understand?
Okay.
Even Christ is Christ. He also has a name you call Jesus
Yeah.
or Yahweh Shai in
Yeah.
ancient Hebrew. So behind every title there is a name.
Yeah.
Queen, that we have so many queen in the world.
Yeah,
Wait, one
Messianic
second.
Hebrew.
If you say Messianic, that's the Jewish. That's a religion.
Hebrew Israelite.
We don't do religion.
I know people want to break down.
Messianic means what?
Progression.
Messianic.
Because there's a
It's a
Hebrew
good question.
Israelites.
No, no,
That's one we are.
I know-
That's
I
the
know
one
he's
we
got a
are.
good question.
Yeah.
Can
Brother, just to,
All right.
that's the one we are Hebrew Israelites.
Man of God, man of God.
We are Hebrew Israelites.
Give-
Oh, when you apologize for
Yeah.
Let me close this point. He's got a good question, man
Yeah,
of God,
it's
and you
a
need to address it.
No, it's
what I'm gonna
already
do-
addressed. It's
wait,
already
we're gonna-
addressed.
Yeah, well, no.
We are
I'm
Hebrew
gonna close this
Israelites.
point. No,
Yeah, already
because
addressed.
I can see you got
Yeah.
more questions. We're
Yeah.
gonna close this point on the Sabbath,
Yeah.
and then we'll let him come in.
Yeah,
Just-
so that
just-
every-
just-
so that everybody-
so that everybody can-
Yeah.
So let me close this
Yeah.
point. Let me just show some.
Yeah.
Man of God, 1 minute. Let me just show you something. The Sabbath. Listen. The Sabbath as mentioned there, that we mentioned in Leviticus 23,
Yeah.
in the ceremonial
Yeah.
law,
Yeah.
that is the Sabbath that Paul talk about. One new moon and
Yeah,
another.
that's
one
right, in
Sabbath to
Colossians,
another.
that's right.
Hold
Yeah.
on, I'll let you, man of God. That is the Sabbath he's talking about.
Yes.
But as pertaining to the Ten Commandments Sabbath,
Yes.
in the Ten Commandments,
Yes.
that's another Sabbath. That's a weekly Sabbath.
Yes.
So a lot of people need to get this understanding. There's a weekly Sabbath, 7 day, you rest on the 7th day,
Yes.
and then a ceremonial Sabbath. This is where the Apostle Paul said, "Let no one judge you in meat
Yes.
or drink or new moon or
Yes.
the Sabbath."
Right.
So there's a ceremonial Sabbath and there's a weekly Sabbath. But
Yeah.
come in now, man of God.
Let's address what you
Can
said.
we pause that? Are you want to answer that and then we take him in?
We're going to address what you just said.
And then take him in,
And
yeah.
Because when Paul says, let no man judge you,
In new moon,
right? You also want
yeah,
that.
go on.
No, go on,
Sabbath,
go on.
so eating of Sabbath.
New moon and Sabbath. That is a ceremonial
So-
Sabbath, not the Ten Commandments. But
Again,
come on.
I'm gonna put something on foundation before I explain that.
Yeah.
For us to be able to break down the New Testament, we must understand the history that is
Behind
in the
it,
Old,
yeah.
Old Testament.
Yeah,
I agree with
that.
Let's start starting.
Yeah, I agree.
The breaking down of the of the New Testament
Yeah.
must
Yes.
come from the New Testament.
I agree.
So let's go to where Paul is telling people not to, about the offering, the new
New
Sabbath,
moon and
all
Sabbath,
this
yeah.
new
That's
moon.
the
Let's go-
ceremonial he was telling him about. Go
It's
on.
also ceremonial. Let's go see why did he say so.
Yes,
You understand?
yes, of course.
So let's go to Ezekiel,
So
right?
let's man of God,
Ezekiel,
yeah, the crockett.
Ezekiel chapter 47, right? 45:17. Ezekiel 45:17. We're going to go to Ezekiel 45:17. We're going to see where Paul got that from. Because Paul is not making words up.
No.
He's speaking in the spirit of the Most High. He said in the book of 1 Corinthians chapter 11 verse 1. It says, "Be ye follower of me,
Yeah.
even as I am the follower of Christ." That means whatever Christ did,
Yes.
Paul did. So
Yes.
Paul
Yes.
was not making anything up. It's just that people don't understand Paul. This is why Peter says that people who don't have the understanding of the scripture, they wrestle because they don't have the understanding of what Paul
Yeah,
has.
no, it's fine. I'm with you.
Okay, yeah, the book of Ezekiel.
So we're not just going to go to Paul, we're going to do as Paul did. He
Yeah,
went
sure.
to Ezekiel.
Absolutely.
So we are now the Paul.
We're there.
Yeah. Ezekiel 45:17, please.
I've got some.
Or you want me to do the
You want the fisherman's friend?
Say again?
Fisherman's
I can
friend.
see it.
Well, no, I got one, No,
Fisherman's friend.
No, I'm good, yeah.
mint,
No,
yes.
for short
What is that, a
time.
mint? Is that a minty thing?
It's like a mint thing.
Right, yeah, I got a mint. I just had a mint, yeah.
All right, go for it, gentlemen. Go for it. Yeah, go for it.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
Okay, we're
He's
waiting
gonna
for
close,
you.
yeah. Conclude, yeah.
Ezekiel 45:17.
Yeah, yeah.
Huh?
And it should be the prince's part
It shall be the prince's part.
to give burnt offerings
Don't forget the Solomon Posh,
Yeah,
right?
and meat offerings and drink offerings.
So this were coming from Leviticus law.
Yeah.
Ezekiel is establishing the same thing.
Yeah.
Okay.
In the feast and in the new moon.
In the feast, so
And
feast.
then?
Wait,
In the new moon.
In the new, wait, 1 second. Don't just let us overlook the word.
yeah, yeah.
In a feast, ceremony, celebration, feast.
In the new moon.
In a new moon, which is
And in
ceremony.
Sabbath.
And in Sabbath.
Okay.
And in Sabbath.
Sabbath.
So it didn't just stop at new moon, they also continue to Sabbath as well.
Yeah.
New moon, Sabbath, and all those.
Because
the-
new
the
moon is a
ceremonial law.
Sabbath also.
Yeah, no,
New moon is a
that's not
Sabbath
the,
also.
no, wait.
It's a Sabbath.
No, yes, yeah, I understand it.
New moon is a Sabbath.
Let me break that down. New moon is a Sabbath as it relates to celebration Sabbath. I'll show you what I mean.
Yeah, it's all under
It's
celebration.
like, to break it on our term,
Yeah.
it's like bank holiday.
Yeah, that's right, yeah.
You understand?
Yeah,
That's how
I'm
the
not
new
gonna.
moon
I'm not
becomes a
gonna use
Sabbath.
that term.
You know,
Hold on, I'm just saying.
Hey,
because
No,
of Sabbath.
it's
I
layman term.
understand.
It's layman
Yeah,
term.
yeah.
It's like bank holiday,
Yeah, yeah,
which is the day you get off.
Yes, you just had one.
But what I'm trying to say is what I'm trying to say is that was a ceremonial Sabbath. Gentlemen,
Listen to this.
are you hear me? That's like a bank holiday. But what I'm saying to you, that was a ceremonial Sabbath. Not the Sabbath of according to the Ten Commandments, where it's written, and God rested on the seventh day from all his work.
Not that one.
Genesis 2 verse 2, what we quoted. On the seventh day, listen, God rested from all his work. But in the commandment, it says, remember the Sabbath day to keep it holy. Listen, 6 days you shall work, and the 7th day is the Sabbath.
Okay,
Notice the difference. In Genesis 2 verse 2, it said on the 7th day, God ended his work.
No.
But
no,
in the
no,
commandment,
no.
The
On the
Sabbath.
6th day.
no, read again. Read again.
No,
He's going to find it. Genesis 2
Well,
verse 2.
no,
Wait
no,
a minute.
You're saying
Wait
on
a
the
minute.
He rested on 7.
Wait. Read the text. It's not my word. Read it.
Okay, Genesis, read
He
it.
didn't
Read
rest
again.
He
No,
didn't
wait a
finish his
minute.
work on the 7th. He
No.
finished on the 6th.
Listen. Read again.
Finish the
Read
word.
again.
Book of Genesis chapter 2.
2 verse 2.
Come on,
Read
bring it
it.
out.
Listen.
Bring it up.
And God, and on the 7th day,
And on the 7th day,
God ended his work.
wait, 1 second. 1 second,
Which
1 second.
he had made,
1 second.
and rested
On the 7th day.
That's what he
seventh
said.
That's what
day.
I said.
Wait, 1 second, 1 second,
Go on.
1 second.
Yeah.
Because we need to understand how the day starts.
No.
No, brother.
My point was.
No, brother.
Let's stick to
Wait,
it.
wait, no, brother. Let me address
Address
it.
it.
There's a
Address
way the day starts.
Yeah.
Okay? The day does not start 12 a.m. in the morning. It
But
starts
the
from when
point
sun.
he was
Brother, 1
making-
second. It starts from when sun goes down. Okay, this is a day, right? A new day starts from now. Do you know that? But you call this day Sunday.
I know this man of God.
But let's go to Exodus 20 and 8.
No.
No,
I
no,
was
no,
only
let's
saying
go.
to you.
Hey,
Oh my
Exodus
goodness.
20.
I was
Let's
just
try
saying
not
to
to-
you that
let's go to
God
Exodus 28.
say on the
Book of
7th day
Exodus
God ended
Let's
his
go. Come on.
Because I want us to feast on it for a while. Instead of
Wait,
jumping.
listen.
We want to close it to let you in.
1 second.
controversial.
Remember,
Don't
wait,
go, please.
wait,
Give
1
us some
second. It's
time.
okay, bro.
We're gonna
It's
let
okay.
you
It's
time.
brother.
We
Don't
wanna hear your
worry.
question.
If
Go
you
on.
want to go, you can go. You can
Let's
come
go.
back.
No, we want him to get a
No,
question.
it's okay. I'm
You
just
wanna
saying.
stop this,
He has
man?
a choice to.
I can
You have
come
the
in later.
choice to exit
Man of
and
God,
come back.
man of
That's
God.
fine, that's
No,
fine.
let me stop this.
Okay,
Man of God,
let's
I can
address-
put you on pause. Man of God,
One second.
and man of God,
Brother,
we can pause.
let him read it.
Let's
Let him read
finish.
it.
We have to let everybody speak.
No, you guys can finish.
Exodus.
Don't go.
Exodus. Brother, it's okay. Don't worry. It's good.
Exodus
Exodus
20.
20. I want to show you that you
When he
have
comes
to
back,
end
let
your
him in.
work on the 6th day. Because if you go to the 7th day,
yeah.
it's a breaking of the law. Let's get it out.
But you do it, but God said I ended
Well,
my
let's
work on
see
the 7th day.
what did he say to remember what?
Yeah,
Remember
so
the
he
Sabbath
just
day.
read what you
God
said.
has a law. Let's see what he gave us as a law. He said we should remember.
Can I just say something?
Let him read this then. Let it go. I just want to show you the 6th day. The 6th day is very important.
Exodus 20, verse 8.
Uh-huh.
Remember the Sabbath day
Remember the Sabbath day
to keep it holy.
holy.
6 days shalt thou labor.
7 days,
6 days shalt thou labor.
8 days,
6 days shalt thou labor
6 days we shall labor.
and do all thy work.
Remember to labor for 6 days and do all your what?
Your work.
And what happened on the 7th day?
But the 7th day
But
is
the
the Sabbath,
7th day is what?
is the Sabbath of the
No,
Lord.
it's the working of the Lord.
The Sabbath of the Lord.
It's the labor of the Lord.
No,
Sabbath of
it
the
The
was
Lord.
Sabbath of the Lord. Sabbath means rest.
One second.
it
Can I
mean the
get
day when God ended his
Can
work.
I get
I
in?
just read it.
Can I get in? It says, and on the 7th
Listen.
day, he rested from his
Quote
work.
reading, where you
On the 7th day.
Genesis 2 verse 2.
That's what he said.
That's what I'm
He said
saying all along.
7th as
But
opposed
what
to
did God
6.
tell us?
But
God
in the
rested
command-
on the 7th
Hold on,
day.
listen.
What did he tell us to remember here?
The 6th day. But he finished his work on the
himself-
7th day.
But he said, okay, brother, fine.
Let's make
But
this
he's
distinction.
telling us, but what is the instruction he's giving? Leave God
Work
alone.
6.
We
All
are
right.
not God.
All right,
so
cool.
let's
Leave God alone.
Sabbath
All right.
is
What
meant
did he
for man.
tell us?
No, it's fine.
Right? Is what we need to follow. You know, what God can
Man
kill,
of God,
can raise up.
don't
We
forget, look
cannot-
on the card
we
I
don't
gave
have
you.
the
I'm a
power to do
Sabbath
that.
keeper. Look on the church I gave you.
see, I see.
I'm a Sabbath keeper, so don't.
No,
I am
I've
Sabbath
seen,
keeper.
I've seen that,
We're
brother.
just exploring that.
I've seen that, but we have to
But
prove
anyway,
that.
where's the gentleman? I didn't
Don't
want
worry,
to-
he's making call. Don't worry, bro. It
All
doesn't
right.
matter.
Move on to
Many
let's
are
move on to
called-
the. All right, let's move on
many
now.
are called-
But you're
Yeah,
choosing.
because we
All
still
right,
want to
Charlie.
get to the New Testament. I'm
Yeah,
still
let's
trying
move
to
on now,
get-
gentlemen.
We haven't opened
Move on,
the
yeah.
Now we have to go
Move
back
on.
We haven't
to
opened the
Ezekiel.
doors of
Yeah.
the New Testament.
Yeah, yeah.
The doors of
Yeah,
the New Testament.
Yes.
Colossians,
We have to
Colossians.
open
Yeah,
it.
let's open the door. Let's open
But
the
we
door.
did this last week and we didn't open it. So
Let's go for Ezekiel where Paul was quoting new moon and feast day. Because something
just gave us that.
No,
But we
we've
gotta
not
get to the
finished
New
it.
Testament. All right.
Because there's something that's connecting that we
All right,
just
go on. Read it.
overlook.
Read on. Yeah, go on.
We just overlook
All
it.
right.
But at some point we got to get to the New Testament because I don't want it
We
to
are
end
in the
without
New
us getting there.
Testament. We just want to go to where Paul is quoting from.
All right, go on. Go on.
Okay, so let's agree.
Okay. Ezekiel chapter 45:17.
Uh-huh.
And it should be the
Don't go too
priest's
fast,
part
yeah.
to give burnt offerings
To give burnt offerings.
and meat offerings and drink offerings in the feast of
Stop. Feast again means to celebrate or ceremony. That's what feast means. You can Google it right now. That is synonymous. Okay, feast means to
In the
celebrate.
feast.
Celebration. If you look at the origin or the etymology of the celebration or celebrate, it comes from ceremony, memory. We have cell. Don't we have cell in our body? Cell memory. Ceremony. Our body, we have brain cell, right? That reminds us. So that's what we look up words as well. So feast means to celebrate or make a ceremony.
In the feast and in the new moon.
So is a feast there is what is connecting the new moon with what?
So that's his Ezekiel 46.
Ezekiel 45 verse
45:17. There's a word. There's a brother. There's a word that is connecting the new moon and the Sabbath together. The word is the. Let's say it. Look at the word that is connecting these two things together.
in the feast
The feasts,
and in the new moons
and in the new moon
and in the Sabbath.
and in the Sabbath.
Right,
So the
okay.
feast
Okay,
is
wait,
connecting the
let's
new.
go, let's go.
Let's finish. You
I
see
get
what
that. The
it's
new
saying
moon
now?
is connecting the new feast and
Yeah,
the Sabbath.
yeah,
I
you
get
go.
that.
In all
They're all
solemnities
Yeah, in all solemnities
of the house of Israel,
of the house of Israel,
ye shall prepare the sin offerings
sin offering
and the meat offering
and the meat offering
and the burnt offering
and the burnt offering.
and the peace offering to make reconciliation for the house of Israel.
So reconciliation means what? What does it mean to reconcile?
Bring together.
To
Bring it back.
To
Bring back.
again.
Bring back.
Again at the end. Bring back again. That's what it means.
Appease God.
Yeah, you have to put the word again.
To appease. It means to appease.
Means to repeat.
So that means it was
reply,
there when we
respond.
moved away from it.
Right.
Yeah, it's
Bring
a
back
peace God.
again.
It's
So
right.
at
Yeah.
what point do you bring somebody back again? They must
they've
have
gone
been with
astray.
you in the first place
Yeah, and they
before they
gone.
went astray.
Yes.
That's why you bring back again.
Okay.
Yes.
Thank you, man of God. Let's
So,
move on now to the
so
next
now
topic.
let's move on
Opening
to-
the door to the New Testament.
Paul, now let's
Right.
connect
He's
that
just gonna
to-
call.
Wait,
As
there's
we
something I
open the
just
door
want
to
to
the-
read also.
I know.
Sorry,
Go on.
brother.
Yes, sir.
No, when we go to the New Testament,
Yes, sir.
but there's something I still want to read in the book of Numbers,
Yeah.
chapter
I'll be back
20,
in a minute.
verse 4.
Yeah.
Because during the time of Moses, on every Sabbath, there's a lamb they have to sacrifice.
That's correct.
You know, and when they sacrifice it
On the Sabbath?
On the Sabbath, yeah. You know, why do they say
Numbers
about
28:4.
it's for
Number?
ceremony.
Numbers?
Yeah, I can read
Numbers chapter
Numbers.
28 verse 4.
28 verse
now
4.
we start from Numbers
Preparation.
28:4. Read it. Let me hear it.
Yeah, okay, I precept from 9.
Or do you want me to read it?
And on the Sabbath day, 2 lambs of the first year. You know, that is on the Sabbath day. It's not on the new moon day.
Yeah, so what I'm trying to say to you,
Yeah.
there's a ceremonial Sabbath and there's a weekly Sabbath.
Yeah, but they're all
Hold on a minute.
under ceremony.
No, wait.
They're
No,
all
wait.
under
No,
the
wait.
feast.
Wait a minute. The ceremonial Sabbath,
Yeah.
when Christ came and he died on the cross, he took away the ceremonial Sabbath day.
No.
Wait a
In
minute,
fact,
gentlemen. Wait a minute.
Brother,
Okay,
you don't-
Wait a minute. It is called by the Jews the high day Sabbath. High day Sabbath.
Wait,
But
okay,
hold on.
wait, sorry.
But the weekly Sabbath, if you look at Luke 23
I
and
only
verse
did this under the
56.
Sabbath.
Wait a minute. Wait a minute.
No, let
If
him
you, let me
bring
finish.
a
Let me finish.
precept
Let me finish. Let
That
me
say
finish.
it's taken out.
Yeah, good man. Thank you for that.
Yeah,
Let me
bro.
finish. I just want to record.
It's
Yeah.
okay.
Look at Luke. Look
Yeah.
at Luke 23. Luke 23. I'll show you something. No, wait a minute, man of God. We'll get you in, man of God. We'll let you in. My guy run off and he's gone to answer his call when he should be here hearing this. But never mind, he missed this one. Luke 23,
Yeah.
verse 56.
Luke 23, verse
56. Read on.
Luke 23, verse 56.
Yeah?
And they returned and prepared spices and ointments and rested the Sabbath. And rested the Sabbath day according to the commandment.
Right. So here is telling you, yeah, 56 is telling you here that the commandment Sabbath 56 it says 23:56. Did I say?
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah, it says. Yeah. So what it's actually telling you here that the sacrificial Sabbath, as mentioned, that you read out in the text, New Moon and Sabbath, that was taken abolished by Christ when he died on Calvary's cross. But you realize that the disciples straight after that Sabbath, which was the high day Sabbath, they went and prepared spices and rested on the weekly Sabbath now.
Yeah, what is
According
the
to
rested
the Sabbath.
Sabbath? When they say rested.
The weekly Sabbath, weekly Sabbath.
Sabbath.
So there's so what I'm trying to show you, there's a weekly Sabbath and there's a ceremonial Sabbath.
Yeah.
The ceremonial
They're all under
Sabbath.
the feast.
Hold on, wait a minute. Yeah, hold on. The ceremonial Sabbath is when the priests had to offer the sacrifice, as you mentioned in Leviticus. But the weekly Sabbath is the day when God rested from his work. Genesis 2 verse 2. Does that make sense?
God
makes
rested,
sense.
but what was the instruction He gave to us? We know that God rested,
What I'm
but
saying-
what was
so
the
what I'm saying
instruction
is-
God gave to us to remember what?
The Sabbath day to keep it, and
How
that's the
many
weekly
days?
Sabbath.
From our labor for how many days?
6 day
6
labor,
days. He didn't
and
say
the
seven, remember? But he said, then he said on the
rested on the
seventh
seventh day. God
we
ended
should
His
do
work.
Exactly. So God rested in His work, but He gave us something to remember. So there's something, there's an instruction,
Yeah,
man
but,
of God.
you know-
Well, there's an instruction we need to follow. We are not God. We are not sitting on His throne.
Hold on.
We are His children, right?
Yes.
He gave us an instruction,
Uh-huh.
regardless of what He did. This is the instruction for the children. For example, when I used to be little,
but the
my,
ceremonial-
one second. When I used to be
you get
little,
my point?
yeah, one second. When I used to be little, my dad has a law for himself in the house. When he's watching TV at night, we need to be in bed. See, that is the time we watch. So God has a law for Himself, and He gave us also a law we need to follow. We cannot mix it up.
Because my father worked always. There's a scripture I can't remember.
My father's always working.
Always working.
That's in the book.
And
of,
I also work.
And also work.
I
Yeah.
also
When
work.
he said
That's,
always working.
that's in the book. That's in the book.
It
of
means that He didn't actually rest on the seventh day, really.
Yeah, but this is why I say Sabbath is only made
made
for
for
man.
us.
Yeah, but you're missing my point, gentlemen. I'll say it again.
Because God is always
I'll
working.
say my point
Yeah.
again, gentlemen.
Yeah.
There's a difference between ceremonial Sabbath, the ceremonial Sabbath. Here where the word of God said the children of Israel. Yeah? On the 14th day of Nisan, yeah,
Yeah.
14 at sunset,
Yeah.
it will be a Sabbath to you. It doesn't mean a weekly Sabbath.
Yeah, it
Yeah,
is.
but yeah.
It says 7
Oh
days.
my
Wait, brother.
God, gentlemen.
Wait, brother. How
Where's-
many days do you have in a week? 7.
Wait,
how can it not
man
be
of
week?
God, you
So
teach.
If 7 days is a week, brother, let me explain this. If 7 days is a week, how does it not mean weekly Sabbath? We have new moon Sabbath, right? Those are monthly.
No, yeah, those
Moon,
are monthly. Yes,
The
go on.
word moon, the word
Yeah,
month
that- you're
comes
right,
from
that's
the word
monthly.
moon. So then we also have
You missed some
weekly
key
Sabbath.
player. Yes.
Brother, we have
wait.
seven.
I'm gonna give you
wait,
again.
one second,
Wait, let me
one
give you
second, one
again.
second. We have 7 days in a week.
Yeah.
That means we have weekly Sabbaths. We give it
I'll take
7
your
days,
point again.
6
Yeah,
days
yeah,
work,
sure.
7 day rest. That's weekly. Then we also have the new moon, which is also considered as a Sabbath. Then we also have what? We also have shalom, brother. We also have the 7 year,
oh,
brother.
how you doing?
Brother, we have brother.
Just come.
In other words, the new.
Okay. How is it? I've been all
The
right.
other word, the new moon Sabbath means the 30-day Sabbath.
Okay.
So we have the
New
7-day
moon
Sabbath.
Sabbath.
Which is,
Say that again. The
uh,
new moon Sabbath.
New moon means every month.
Okay.
So we have 30
Yeah.
days in the month
Yeah,
according
sure.
to the Bible.
Yeah, yeah.
But let me finish this point.
Let me finish.
Now we also have a Sabbath that we call the 7-year Sabbath.
Okay.
Right or wrong? 6
Oh,
years
hear my
you
point.
plant, on the 7 years you let the land dry. It's no.
What is the 7-year Sabbath? Sorry.
Yeah.
All right.
Okay, okay, okay.
Can I come in?
Okay, okay.
Can I come in?
1 second.
Yeah.
This is the last one.
Okay.
No, let's
Then
do
we
it.
also have 7 times 7, which is 7 times. We have
49.
we have 7 times 49. We have
7749.
yeah, 749. We have the Jubilee Sabbath.
Yeah.
So we didn't just only have 7 weeks Sabbath.
50,
All-
57.
yes.
Yeah.
Regardless, whatever week or month we attach to this thing is still called the Sabbath of the feast.
All right, can I
Because
come in?
it's a ceremony.
Can I come in?
It's celebration.
Can I come in? Wait. Listen to this. Listen to
Go ahead.
this.
You get my point, right?
Yeah. But what we disagree on, man of God, and it's not a bad disagree. I'm just showing you my angle.
Yeah.
We just get
I'm
sharing.
saying to them, there's a ceremonial Sabbath and there is a weekly Sabbath,
And they're different.
and they are different. In Luke 23, yeah, in Luke 23 verse 56, I clearly read it here. It says
Luke
here,
23.
56. Here it says, here, man of God, read it for yourself. And they returned and prepared spices and ointment and rested on the Sabbath according to the commandment. Hold
That
on.
was okay. Explain.
Yeah,
I'm
you know
gonna
what?
explain.
You
Wait a
know
minute,
what?
gentlemen.
Okay.
Can I just clear my point and I will let you in?
Explain.
I will let you in.
Yeah.
This, notice, they rested first. This is
Yeah.
after the crucifixion of Christ.
Yes.
Now the date for the crucifixion of Christ is considered to be a Sabbath, but it's a
Yeah.
Passover also.
Yes. It
Wait a
definitely
minute,
is.
man of God.
Yeah.
Hear my point? Just like this is and after you can come in, yeah?
No, I'm agreeing.
So that Passover was a Sabbath, but it was a Passover Sabbath. But here the disciples, after the crucifixion of Christ, which means that they fulfilled that Sabbath already, because they gone and be with Jesus at his crucifixion.
Yes.
But they return and prepare spices, which was a day after. Jesus was crucified on Wednesday.
Yes.
Wednesday, and then the day after now, yeah, the day following the crucifixion,
Thursday.
they return and prepare spices, and they rested on the weekly Sabbath now.
Yes.
This is the 7th day of the week.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
According to the commandment.
Yeah.
I'm saying to man of God, but that is to tell you that the 10 commandments Sabbath and the sacrificial Sabbath, when the apostle talk about new moon and Sabbath, this is two different Sabbaths.
Yeah,
Wait, okay, I want to say something. I got your point.
Are we agreed? Are we agreed?
They're not agreeing.
Wait.
No, you don't have to. I'm just asking.
No, I'm not.
Yeah,
Not
yeah.
100%.
Yeah.
What he's saying is
Yeah.
right. But for us, when you're talking about the Passover,
Yeah.
for us to be able to clear that point, we need to go into the book of Leviticus, chapter 23, verse 23.
You can.
Yeah, let's go to Leviticus 23.
Look at it.
Is he going to say
Look at
something
it.
different?
No, wait.
He's right,
Listen
but
this.
it's not 100% right because
Okay.
it's still
Leviticus 23,
But
20.
one second, would you agree that that Sabbath was a Passover Sabbath?
Weekly Sabbath and the
No,
new Sabbath, they always clash.
There you go.
Would you
That's
agree
what
that?
I'm trying to
Would
point
you
out.
agree that it's a Passover?
What did you say? What did you say?
So because there's a time whereby the weekly Sabbath and even the new moon Sabbath,
Our
they
brothers here
always
want to-
clash together. And even
close that
yearly,
point.
let's not-
Alright, can we
there
close
are-
that
one
point
second,
and a piece
one
for
second.
him?
There is a time yearly. One second, brother is fine. There's a yearly that even the weekly Sabbath, the new moon always also clash with the Passover.
Alright, gentlemen.
Now,
Let's froze that
go
one.
to Leviticus
No,
and
no,
clarify that.
froze
thing
it,
though,
froze
are
it.
you agreeing
No,
that
we
the-
can talk again.
Yeah.
Listen, we can talk again. We understand.
Yeah,
Let
we're
gentlemen
not-
come
we're
in.
not finished.
Come in, sir, with
We're
your
not finished.
question.
We're carrying on
We will
finished.
pick up again. We are studying.
You know
You
we're
got my
gonna do
link.
now.
You know,
We're
yeah.
gonna- Yeah,
Let me
this
address.
is ongoing.
Can we
No.
just read one verse?
No,
No,
it's
we can
ongoing.
pick that again. Man
We're
of
not gonna
God.
stop. It's not the end, though.
Man of God.
Look,
We can pick that
One
again.
second,
Let me take the
brother,
gentleman.
1 second.
All right, go on.
You just made a claim. And you asked me, do I agree with that?
Yeah.
I say I don't 100% agree with that.
Okay, but we can deal with that. This is
Another
with
time,
our-
yeah.
Wait, we cannot do it another time because if you didn't ask the question another time, that means I have to answer it now.
Yeah, but
Let me
you-
read one verse
we're going for the
and
next
address
round.
that question.
Yeah, but
So
I
we don't
want to
wait
get this man
one second.
question.
Okay.